Hello, everyone, and welcome to Who Are You Wednesday. If you did not catch the TikTok, this week's Who Are You Wednesday's affirmation is I am chosen. Yes, I am chosen. You are chosen. We all are chosen. The people who decide to walk with God. So today's I am chosen can be linked to the Bible story of David. When David was anointed to be king, he was chosen. He was chosen by God. He was appointed by God. So that's where this week's affirmation came from. The story of David, amongst others. There's plenty of other people in the Bible, but the story of David, I feel like encompasses it all. So this week is going to be a little different. Typically, I give a summary or synopsis of the story of the person that we're speaking of, but no, today we're going to walk the word together. So in 1 Samuel 16 and 13, 1 through 13 is when David was anointed to be king. So if you have your Bible, I'll give you a little bit of time to get there. If your Bible's on your phone, go to your Bible app and pull up 1 Samuel 16. We're going to read 1 through 13, or we're going to walk through it so you can see exactly how God strategically chooses people. Yeah. So I ain't going to waste too much time. I'm going to hop right into it. So 1 Samuel 16 says, Now the Lord said to Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I am sending you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided myself a king amongst his sons. So in there, the king that was over Israel was no longer anointed by God. God said, "Okay, I had enough," and God already had someone else in mind. So it was Samuel's duty to go and find the person God has anointed, and he was going to tell him when he got there. Basically, he gives him his instructions later on as we read. So, verse 2. And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me. But the Lord said, Take a heifer with you and say, I have to come sacrifice to the Lord. Then invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. You shall anoint for me the one I name to you. The Lord has given Samuel the instructions on how, or letting him know how he's going to show him who's anointed to be the next king amongst Jesse's sons. So Samuel did what the Lord said and went to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, Do you come peaceably? And he said, Peaceably, I have to come to sacrifice to the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. See, Samuel was doing as the Lord said. He's going to Jesse and his sons, and to sanctify themselves, they had to be sanctified in the presence of God. So it was when they came that the Lord looked at Eliab and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, Do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. I'm going to segue a little bit. That verse right there allows you to understand that just because you may not look like everybody else, just because you're not doing everything everyone else is doing, it does not mean that they are chosen. It does not mean that they're doing the right thing. The Lord does not look at the outer appearance. He looks at our hearts. He looks at the inside. I'm going to read that again because that's very profound. That is definitely something that we all must remember of children of God. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. How does God choose people? By their heart posture. These people out here may have these huge houses and doing things that you just thought you'd never do, it doesn't mean that they're chosen. Remember that. So Jesse called Abinadab and him and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, "Neither has the Lord chosen this one." Then Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, "Neither has the Lord chosen this one." Then Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, "Neither has the Lord chosen this one." Mhm. Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. And Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen these." And Samuel said to Jesse, "Are all the young men there?" "There remains yet the youngest, and there he is. He is keeping sheep." So Jesse didn't even bring David in the beginning. Like, he totally overlooked him. He counted him out because he was the youngest and he was keeping sheep. Tis, tis. And Samuel said to Jesse, "Send and bring him, for we will not sit down till he comes here." So he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, with bright eyes and good looking. And the Lord said, "Arise, anoint him, for this is the one." Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel arose and went to Ramah. David was chosen amongst everybody, amongst his brothers. The youngest who kept sheep was the chosen one that God chose. Just like God chose me to teach the word, just like God chose you to do what he has you to do. Remember, you are chosen just like David. God combed through all of the older brothers, the ones that his father thought were going to be the chosen ones. No, God did not choose him. God chose David. So remember that. If you're overlooked, doesn't mean that you're not chosen. If you feel like you're not worthy enough, it doesn't mean that you're not chosen. David was keeping sheep. He's the youngest of his siblings, and he was out there keeping sheep. And God chose him to be king. So remember that. You are chosen no matter what it looks like, no matter how you feel. You are chosen. It's not about your appearance, it's not about what you have, it's not about what you can do. It's about your heart. David was chosen because of his heart. And that's who God wanted to use. So remember this, you are chosen. I am chosen. So this week, Who Are You Wednesday is I am chosen, just like David was chosen. Tune in next week.